What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this weekend's video. I gotta tell you, this is the exact same time that I'm from last week's video. I just cut the video short because I didn't want it to go on too long. I think I already had about 30 minutes of footage for that, so I'm gonna have to edit that out. Obviously, I'd edit that down already and put it into a video, but here we go. We're working on Ole Blue here. For anybody who missed it last week, we're working on Ole Blue here. We got the toolbox out right there, and you can see Black Beauty right over there in the grass. She's not in the driveway because we had a trailer pull in last night. So yep, we're working on Ole Blue. Let me show you what we got here. We have the distributor out. Can you see that? Maybe? Yeah, there you go. We have the distributor out. We're getting a new module. It's coming in today at noon, so I'm gonna go pick that up. Well, you can't see it. This rear-facing camera. I'm gonna stop this video real quick, flip this around, and yeah. You can see I'm getting this module right here. It's an electronic control module for the distributor. These things go bad pretty frequently. I will warn you guys, this electronic stuff is pretty expensive. This piece right here is $45 just for this little electronic plug, and it just screws into the side of the distributor. So that distributor actually is like $150, so I'm gonna be really careful with that. But here you can see I still have the distributor out. In last week's video I ranted about the metal plate that was hooked onto this wiring harness right here, and so I'm actually right now I'm gonna zip tie this up and maybe clean up this block a little bit and see if I can't find the oil leak. If you look right here, you can see all the way around the head there is oil, which means the head gasket is leaking a little bit, and it goes all the way around the entire head. So that's a good sign that there's oil coming out of the head. I'm sure it's coming out of other places, like this plastic cover right here. That you can see this plastic cover. I'm sure it's leaking out of there. That liquid right there is actually brake clean. But if you look around this whole engine, it's just covered in oil and grease. And this right here, this is thick, built up. You can see that. That's all oil that got caked up into dirt, and now it's just sitting on my truck and rusting it. So you can also see that my engine isn't exactly in the mount. This is the vibration bushing that this actually sits in. So yeah, but that's okay because the whole front end of this truck is off the center, so it's all right. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this distributor back in, and maybe we'll see about pulling off the throttle body and the intake if I put it in time and it doesn't start still. So I actually also don't know how much fuel is in this truck. The fuel gauge doesn't exactly work, and usually when it gets down to about half a tank, it shows that it's at half a tank, but it's really empty. So yeah, so where I'm gonna get to putting this distributor back in, and I will probably show you that right now. It's not very hard to do a distributor. They just unbolt and you put them in. So I'm gonna set you up right here where you were before in last week's video against the hood hinge, and you can see right here is the hole where the distributor is gonna go. This is the engine head, this is the valve cover up here, and down here is the block. If you take this cover off, this plastic cover right here that my finger's on, you can get to the push rods, which run in the channels on either side of the spark plugs. You can see right here these little hills or bumps, whatever you want to call them. They're tubes, and the push rods run from the valve cover down to the camshaft, which is down in the block, which actually also the timing is run off of. So yep, I'm gonna get to doing that. I have the distributor right here, my 1/2-inch wrench, and we are going to put this bad boy back in. Here it goes. Here's the distributor right here, and we're gonna set it down in there, and it should just slide right down in the hole. You might have to work it around a little bit. See, there we go. And then it just slides on in. And I think I might leave this wiring harness out on this side of the distributor, just for the fact that it seems kind of in a bad place where it was at before. So I'm actually gonna zip tie it up here to the oil dipstick support. I didn't like it in there. It seems like it would vibrate a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this distributor in all the way. There it goes, seated. And we're going to take our little hold down clamp and our 1/2" wrench, and it goes, you can see right where it goes. Yeah, right down there next to the distributor. I'm gonna go ahead and put this down in here, cover up my belt buckle so I don't scratch my paint, but then I'm gonna stick this down in here and we should be good to go. I'm not gonna clamp it all the way because we have to put it in time still. So yeah, I'm gonna start threading this in by hand first. Remember guys, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I get that mixed up all the time. There it goes. Alright. So you can see now that I have it loose. The distributor can still turn. I'm going to go a little more with it just so that I don't have as much to crank on once it's time to set it. You can see I can still rotate it. I might have to put this wiring harness down like that maybe. Yeah, that'll work. I'm going to pull this plug wire out of there. Alright, we are going to plug this in, which this plug connects to the harness, and I think this is the module that's bad. But I plug this goes into the wiring harness, and it does not go to the coil yet, so I'm going to hook this back up. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm going to figure out which one of these cylinders is closest to top dead center, and then I'm going to adjust the top of the distributor cap, then the rotor button to so that it's somewhat in time, and then we can adjust the distributor cap from there if we get it started. If not, I think I'm going to replace that module, and if that doesn't fix it, then I think I'm going to go ahead and pull off the throttle body and the top intake plenum, which the throttle body is hooked to. It's on the other side. I'll show you real quick. Yeah, right here. This is the intake plenum, and the throttle body is hooked in right here. And you can see we have our whole throttle body there. So if that's the case, we just come down here, and we actually have to get to these bolts. You can see them right here from the bottom, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, we'll have to make sure we have plenty of rags on hand to do that, so that yeah, so we can plug up the intake holes without getting a bunch of crap in it. Alright, I'm going to get to figuring out which one of those is top dead center, and then we will go from there. Alright guys, so I just pulled the number 3, you can see it's missing right there, the number 3 cylinder plug, and if this will focus, I would show you. So we'll set it right here, right down here. Actually, we'll go over to the magnet bowl. So we have a magnetic bowl here. This thing is amazing. You can see how this is all black, right? And I can kind of scrape this a little bit. Maybe I'll get the brake clean rag and wipe it off real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, find a good clean spot on this. Can I set you right there? No, that's not going to work. So, yeah, I'm going to set this up real quick. I'm going to flip the camera around real quick. Alright, there we go. I can squeeze you right in there. That's good enough. So you can see this is all black and nasty, and you can see up here is nice and clean. Oh, that's not good. Never drop your spark plugs. It's bad. If they crack, they're no good. But this one didn't. Luckily, we're all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe it down, and we're gonna get this. This is called fouling. So this is carbon fouling, which means I think it means there's too much fuel in the cylinder, and it's just burning inside the cylinder and caking the spark plug with nasty stuff. So that really could affect pretty badly how well your engine runs. And you can see here, I'm just cleaning this off, and as you can see, it's still black, but you can see here where it isn't burned yet, where the metal isn't burned yet, and there's no carbon, and it's still shiny. So just be I don't know what you would say there. I'm at a loss for words when I make videos. I don't know why. Cautious, I guess, or cognizant of the fact that that could really, really affect how your engine runs. Your spark plugs are a huge deal. These are AutoZone's brand, Autolite. I think that's their brand. Maybe not. I don't really know. I got them from AutoZone. They were cheapest there. I might, if I get this engine running, I'll probably get new plugs again, and I'll get them. I'll get some high performance plugs so I know they're burning really good. And they're really hot and make a good spark, because also your spark plugs could affect your power output. If you have a hotter spark, the faster it's going to combust, and you'll get a more complete combustion. So that's a good thing to have when you're burning fuel. You'll get more efficiency, you'll get better fuel mileage, and you'll make more power because there's more combustion going on. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of these, like I said, and figure out which one is closest to top dead center, turn the engine to that point, and then I'll show you how to adjust the distributor. Alright everybody, we're back. It's been about 5 or 10 more minutes since the last time I talked to you with the whole spark plug fouling thing. I actually only pulled spark plugs number 3 through 6. You can see 1 and 2 are still in there, but the other 4 are actually over there. So I'm actually going to use the camera, which this is helpful for you guys because you get to see down into the cylinders and figure out which one of these is closest to top dead center. Alright, you can see the piston in there, maybe, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the piston right there. Alright, so this isn't really helping, but you can see in there, that was the number 3, here's number 4, which I believe is actually closer, yeah, see there it is, right at the top. Yeah, I think 4 is closer to the top, which means 5 is going to be at the bottom. 1, 5, 2, 4, 3, 6. So that means 2 is probably at top dead center. And I can't really get to 6. But we can look down in there. Oh yeah, see there's 6. You can see it down in there. They all have carbon built up on them, which is kind of a bad sign. That means that it's burning dirty. But it's okay because it's a 32-year-old truck now. So yeah, it'll be all right. I'll catch up with you guys in a minute. Alright guys, so I figured it out. Got my little light here. This thing only works half the time anyway. But you can see, maybe you can see down in there, cylinder 3 is in fact at, or right about at, maybe you can't see it. There, you can see the top of the piston right in the bottom of the hole. There you go. Is at top dead center. If you couldn't see it, but you gotta believe me because I kind of know what I'm doing with this truck at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the plugs back in real quick. I only took out 2 through 6. I didn't take out number 1 because I figured, once you pull 5 out, you can pretty well figure out what the last one's gonna be. But yeah, so we'll hook this all back up. And then we'll figure out, I'll show you how to adjust the distributor cap once we hook the wires back on and can take them off of there. So, yeah. So I'll get to that. I'll get to putting the plugs back in real quick. Guys, just so you know, I don't have a spark plug socket. So you can do this with a very regular socket that has no rubber in it. You just have to be careful that when you're working with these, you don't crack this white part, this ceramic insulator. Because if that cracks, your spark plug is shot, it'll shear completely off, and yeah, that's a problem. Then you'll have to get new plugs. So just be careful. I don't use spark plug sockets because I don't see a need for them. I've never broken a spark plug, so I'm gonna keep doing what I do until I break a spark plug. So that's that. That's my piece on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this all back in here, and hopefully, since I cleaned the plugs off and I know where it's at now, I can adjust the distributor to where it goes, and hopefully it'll start. I might grab a can of gas and put some gas in the tank just so that it has something to run off of. Yeah, so I'm gonna get to that. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. We are putting the last plug wire on. This is number 6. Make sure you get it over your oil fill line there, your dipstick, and just make sure when these go on that they really pop on. Because if they don't, then you've got other problems. I'm going to set you down right here again, where I like to put you. And then, well, my log fell over. Dag on it, I'm making a mess. And then, yeah, I'll put my foot here. All right, there we go. Alright. Once you feel the confirming click, you're good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all of the plug wires off the distributor here. Just pull them off. Because I know the firing order on this engine. This is per cylinder. It goes 1, 5, 2, 4, and then 3 and 6. So now what we have to do is we have to pull the blue cap off the distributor, and I will show you how we do that. It's just 2 screws. I think they're Phillips. We'll see. Try this one. I think this one should work. Let's see here about this. Yep, see, we get in here, and yep, that's it right there. There's one here and one on the other side. You can probably see it. It's right here. We're gonna just unscrew these until they don't unscrew anymore. And then this cap should just come off, and I will show you what I'm talking about. Alright, cap off. There you go. Alright, now you gotta keep track of these screws and the washer on them. Maybe they don't come out of there. Okay, apparently they don't come out of there. So what I was telling you before is that you can see these little metal tabs in there. There's 6 of them, right? And they correspond to each one of these. Basically, I like to call them towers on the top. That's not, I don't know the technical terms for this stuff. You can see number 1 is labeled right there. So this is the number 1 cylinder connection, and it corresponds to the point in there. So this goes 1, 5, 2, 4, 3. So we need to remember that this one here is 3. So I have electrical tape. I'll be right back. Alright, so see, we have some electrical tape. I'm going to wrap some tape around it just for my reference so I know which one is the cylinder I'm looking for. Doesn't have to be a big piece, just a little tiny piece like that. I'm just going to stick it right around the blue tower there. And it's probably going to slide off, yep, just like that, because this is covered in oil and grease. I have no idea how I'm going to keep that on there. But anyway, hopefully it stays. I can figure it out. So now what we need to look for here is this right here. This is the rotor button. So what we have to do now is either align the rotor button to the number 3 cylinder, or we need to turn the whole distributor to where the rotor button, I believe, will turn with the distributor. Nope, just kidding. So that adjusts your timing. So this rotor button actually, I don't know, how does this turn? Oh, there we go. So this whole thing actually turns the, oh, I remember how now. So this cap turns with the distributor. So our rotor button is there, which means this needs to be in line like that, right about there. And so what this does, by not tightening this down, this allows me, oh wait a minute, yeah, no, it needs to go the other way. This allows me to adjust for the timing, so I can put this on here right about at the 3rd cylinder like that, and then I can play with the timing once we hook it up. And if it starts, or I can adjust this slightly back and forth around that number 3 tower, and it should, in theory, start when I hook this all back up because it is all aligned. If it doesn't, that's a problem, and it's something other than my distributor. So I am actually going to tighten this cap down. Well, it kind of moved a little bit, but then I'm going to leave that the hold down clamp for the distributor loose for a minute, but I think I'm going to tighten it back up. See how it keeps moving like that? That's a pretty drastic move. So we're going to adjust this back just a little bit like that, which should set it. And then I'm going to come in here and tighten this down a good bit more. Let's see. How did I do that? Well, there we go. I'm going to try using the box end on this. There we go. And I will just, maybe I can get it with my fingers a little better. I don't want to move the distributor too much now because it's pretty well set where it needs to be. That's loose. We need to go this way. That's why it wasn't getting tight, because, can I still move it? Oh yeah. So I'm going to crank that down another maybe half a turn or so. And see, again, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's always good to remember to where, up, see, that's too tight now. So then we have to just break it loose a little bit, just so we can barely turn it real slow, like that. All right, there we go. And we will hook everything back up, connect the battery, and we'll see if it starts. All right, everyone, we're back. So I tried to start it. Hey, Kim Dog, what's up? Hey, look, it's my dog Kimber. Sit. No, leave it. Sit. Lay down. Good dog. So we tried to start it, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it or if it's still doing it, but yeah, it's not smoking anymore. But you can see right here, the exhaust is cracked apart where I tried to patch it. So what's happening is I'll go to start it, and I believe it's getting too much fuel for being out of time, and then it sparks and it'll pop really loud like a gunshot. I actually was in the cab and my ears, I couldn't hear anything for a minute. Mom freaked out. It was kind of bad, but so yeah, so I'm not going to try and start it anymore, but I am going to maybe pull off. I mean, it's getting fuel, so I think it's just out of time, but I don't really know. So I'm going to make a phone call real quick and figure out what the heck is going on with this. Alright, everybody, so I have decided that I think I'm going to pull the throttle body and intake plenum off, and just so I can get down to these fuel lines and see maybe if it's something down in there where I'm getting too much fuel to a cylinder or something. Maybe I need new injectors, I don't really know. It might come down to pulling the head off and making sure that there's no cracks in the block or anything. But I don't really know. I don't really have very much longer here at the house before I go to college. I do have every weekend, but I plan to work up there. So, and it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes away from my house. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull these off. I just took a bunch of pictures so I remember how it goes back together. That's another thing, guys. If you're working on vehicles like this and you're gonna take, or an engine in general, and you're gonna take parts off that you've never done before, or that you don't like vacuum lines and stuff, you really need to take pictures of that kind of stuff, because it really does make a difference when you're putting it back together so you don't get confused.